we did this last time with like a cold open, so we might as well just kick things right off here
Yeah.
to start. I know we'll pump up the intro. It's no big deal. Boys Club. Welcome back to the Boys Club, everybody. It's episode 3 of the Boys Club, welcoming any of our new members, and we're actually got a great new cast of members joining us upon our YouTube page. Might as well throw it out there at, well, Boys Club Podcast, BCPC. We're changing over the tags eventually on the socials, by the way, but still has UFL Podcast for the moment on our socials, and you won't miss any of it, including our awesome recent clips we got up there too from previous shows and other ones we're going to be having, including this show as well, if you miss. But hey, check out the full episode as you're doing right now, wherever you're listening to, or if you're watching us at the moment, click the bell and hit the subscribe button. Especially click the bell. It builds morale, not only for you, but for us too, as we kick off episode 3. Look, how you been, man? I got to be honest with you. Some of the things we want to talk about that have been coming up where I'm like, "Whew, thank God this thing doesn't affect me," or "Thank God I can avoid this conversation," especially like in the tech world, because my God, the graphics card stuff is nuts. Before we do that, though, I also have to ask, UFL, man, how's your trips? Spring stock days post live stream?
I mean, the live stream was fun. First, before we get into the travel of it all, Zach, we had the co-owner of the UFL, Danny Garcia, make an appearance on our show.
Yes, we did.
We had the president of the UFL, Russ Brandon, make an appearance on our show.
Yes, we did.
We had the Matty Fresh make an appearance on our show.
Yes,
and there was
did.
actually a couple players that willingly made an appearance on our show as well.
We had a banger. Yeah, there's some great cameos in that one.
Spring Stock 5, and if you missed it, I had the fancy ref shirt. It was buttoned up. I'm going to be wearing that on the cruise for something. I don't know what, but because, Easter night we have the Gamblers against the Stallions, which I'll be missing, but I'll wear my ref shirt on the cruise, just buttoned up. I can't be walking around in this ref shirt. But then the next day, I drove up to Dallas, and most of it was fun until the end of the game. And I was actually planning on staying the night, hanging out with James and James the next day, but I ended up having to come back early because my wife needed something. So I drove through the night, got home at 12:30, and it wasn't until I went to Buc-ee's to go charge and take a piss that I got in Buc-ee's and I realized I'm still walking around in the ref shirt. It's like, I don't know, 11:30 at night. Here I am. But, we did that on the whole way to St. Louis last year, so I'm just used to it now.
It's partying, man.
But I'll say it was fun. I liked the new stadium in Dallas. Some could argue, half of it's shut down. I thought it was nice. There was still a decent crowd there. Everybody was having fun. There was your typical, Zach, I got to say it, though. There was your typical spring football bullshit. Spring football bullshit in full effect in Dallas. So our boy, James Baker, he had the all-inclusive package there, right? He goes to get a beer at halftime. Guess what? They're closing down. Not only are they closing down, all the merch stands are closing down. All of it's closing down because there was some kind of miscommunication where they were saying, where they thought they were told they could leave at 5, but really the league was telling them that they could start shutting down 5 minutes till the end of the quarter. The last quarter, obviously, right?
Okay.
And so there was, I'm sure, many people that were pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised, rather.
I'm fully convinced this is a Dallas thing that just keeps happening. It happens in Arlington.
I know.
Just happened to travel you right over to Frisco, Texas. I mean, I just think it's an area thing. I'm just starting to get convinced that this is something that just happens.
Those vendors are ready to go home, man. They are, maybe they just want to get in the stands and watch the game. They're like, there's football going on, and I'm serving beer. Get out of here. Let me go wander on down.
They'll come back. There's going to be plenty more. They're going to buy plenty more merch, plenty more tickets.
But I think it sounds like they'll have that sorted for next week. I won't be in Houston to tell anybody what happens there, but I will be there for their third game. I believe is their next home game after that. Or No, week 4. Anyway, I'll be there. It's a Thursday night game, and that's going to be brutal, Zach, because I'm going to have to get out. It takes 2 hours to get there normally, and it's going to be rush hour because I'm going to have to leave at like 5 to get there. The game starts at 7.
Yeah, middle of the week. Middle of the week for
What
you.
are you guys doing to me? I don't want to do that. I might have to leave at like 4 if I want to get there like with some leeway and maybe not get slammed with traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, but you know what? The league is back. We might as well just go right into the UFL action.
Just keep on going. I mean, seriously, might as well.
Mixed bag of action over the weekend. I'll say that there was things that looked great, things that didn't look so great, and I'll be honest. Am I shocked? No, because that's what you get when you take all your teams and you throw them back out like a bunch of dice again. Because what you could have had was year 3. Finally, Zach, a true year 3 where these teams finally gelled together. You're seeing that a little with Birmingham. St. Louis is doing St. Louis things, but I already talked about A.J. Smith and Brandon Silvers, and so that makes all the sense. Dallas, I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe Houston's defense isn't that great. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see in the coming weeks. Houston has done that to teams where people said, oh, well, that team's going to be amazing. I think it was actually the Renegades before, and then that was like, they weren't that amazing. The Storm, though, I thought the Storm was going to be a fine team, and they were a fine team. Anthony Beck behind the scenes, but again, maybe not, because or is the Aviators just going to be the Aviators with a brand new head coach? I don't know. Before I get into my thoughts into Houston and how hope is not dead, give me your thoughts. Let's go into it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's a mixed bag with the whole deal. I mean, and I'll be frank, I caught up enough. Look, I as you know, I'm much more detached from this than I have in years past. So like, I did keep up. I did re-up on plenty of the stats and whatnot, and on the highlights and whatnot for games I didn't get to fully watch. Or I mean, it was it was roughish for me to watch with some of the stuff for this opening weekend. And I mean, some of that could probably be attributed to that they did blow up rosters and kind of threw pieces around. Feels like the O-lines are weaker this year for some reason, which, I mean, that could be the NFL and then them trying to like stop. There's this whole thing around with the NFL, like stockpiling linemen at this point just to kind of hold on to them because it's like a valuable asset or something. Almost like their version of like gold or silver for hyperinflation or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's almost like it felt like it trickled down to the league, which that could be first week jitters, but like watching DC give up, it was 6 sacks as well on the opening week. Actually 7. I'm looking at this right now. That feels completely abnormal. And they were held scoreless second half was kind of crazy to me. Other stuff that stuck out. And we kind of talked about this on Spring Stock. I was kind of surprised that at the low thoughts on Dallas, because they came out of the gate. I didn't know Austin Reeves was going to be as good, but I knew damn well Rick Neuheisel was going to be a better coach than Bob Stoops. And I was amazed that we had sentiment that it was going to be a downgrade around.
Yeah, but you got to remember who a third of the audience was in that Spring Stock, where I would never admit anything other than Houston supremacy. So
I mean, I'm just talking out loud because that was probably the one I'm like, look, Houston is my team, kind of, but I wasn't surprised. I'm going to be frank.
Third highest scoring team of the weekend, though. And for a second, we were the second highest scoring.
I mean, true. Can't deny that. We put up 17, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Put up that one, went all in on that comeback effort. It was pretty good.
If our defense was a little bit better and we held them to 16, we would be having a whole different conversation right now.
Yeah, right.
Maybe next week. We'll see.
Look, my only other thought was, and I'm just going to throw this out here too, rewatching the highlights and all that. I'm going to be frank. This is one of those years where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm glad if I don't got to watch every week, because the ESPN broadcasts are still the worst thing on television. Even the highlights do not hide well how bad these things are to watch or listen to. As soon as the gambling analysis came out, I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't have to watch this live, because this is so cringeworthy to listen to on television, to do it with that. And then they have the damn behind the center camera, and like, it's just, ESPN sucks at spring football, and it's just not going to change. It's
not even just spring football, because they also do the thing with the huge bottom ticker, right, to where it takes up like part of your screen. And let's talk about last night's game, if you can find it. So it's supposed to be on ESPN, but then it gets bumped to ESPN News. But then for a second it was on ESPN2, but then it went over to ESPN, but then it went back to ESPN News. I was like, where the fuck is this game? I had to keep bouncing around to find the game. And come on now. I get it. That's what you have to do. You're not the NFL. You're going to get moved around a bit. My other takeaway on the weekend was, okay, cool. St. Louis, they got their logo at midfield. Great. Yep. Orlando, they got a logo at midfield. For ants, Zach. What are these logos for ants? I mean, with Orlando at you know what you could do? Here, I'm going to give you a free idea. Refs, free ideas. Remove the word storm under the logo, because at least if you're going to have it that small, you'll get the logo, the full, because then it's just, I mean, it's a logo for ants. And then, I mean, the other, you know what? At least they have a logo, because it looks pretty boring and pretty plain when you look at Louisville and Dallas. It's just, not even the end zones are painted. And I get it, the soccer teams. Who cares?
The trade-off with MLS stadiums is what I'm seeing, because that was the thing. They're not going to let you paint too much. So you got to go with what you can. I do find that hilarious, though. Every iteration or new league we've had, it's like the main logos in the middle have to shrink for some reason.
I'm curious.
I don't know. It's a strange trend to have happen every single time.
Let's see what they do in DC. Yeah, well, I'm curious what's going to happen in DC, because DC has had multiple variations of the paints.
Yeah, they have.
And are they now going to go paintless? Or are they going to have like a miniature logo in the center? Well, we'll find out next weekend.
Soon.
With Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane! You're getting owned, Gucci Mane!
Yeah. But I love you posted that meme on the...
So good.
Like, I love it.
One of my top American Dad moments is just Klaus calling Gucci Mane on his cell phone.
I think I heard before, but then I just heard again, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. American Dad is coming back. Is that right?
It's on Fox right now.
It's on right now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is currently new episodes. They like a few in now. But
are they any good?
I haven't watched actually any. It's funny. I have access to that. Haven't sat down and watched it. But I mean, I like it better than Family Guy personally. We can dive into that at some point if you ever want. Yeah. But I don't know. The UFL stuff, I guess, to finish up. I chalk up some things to week one, but I'm curious because, like I said, I felt like it was rougher this year to start. So I'm just putting my 2 cents on that, and we'll see how things change. Fascinating thing though, and you might have seen this before we jumped on. Got a little curious. Looked up some stats. I wanted to say what was the scoring averages and the point and the margin of victories for week ones from 2019 through now. And I can already tell you're trying to pull this up, but I'll keep speaking while I'm speaking on this. This is the second year in a row the UFL has gotten 36.5 as the average per game total scoring in week one, which now continues a trend where they've stayed basically within 36 to 37 points for 3 straight years. And there it is. But it's fascinating.
Week one. Yeah.
Our old league we used to cover has both the lowest and highest margins. That 2023 season kicked off really fast too, by the way, for the USFL. But, look at the other ones too. XFL 2020 and 2019, pretty close. And if we just went off this stat too, of only just like 38 points apiece, it looks like it's reasonable, right? And then you go over to the margin of victory.
I love this.
Holy crap. 1.3 was the margin of victory back in 2019. And one of those was a 26-0 blowout, by the way, week one.
Yeah.
It was not close whatsoever. But you know what? Second highest was actually last year's UFL season, 17.5. Which I didn't remember
you saw
that
because
now.
You had the year one, then it started to gel, and look, now we took it back to year one.
Yeah,
that's what we did. Because that's what I was about to say. You know what we're going to see here is I wouldn't worry that we're going to have this quality all season, because we've done this, Zach. This is another reason why we have a different show now, because we've talked about the same thing before. With new teams, what's going to happen, Zach? 2-3 weeks in, they're going to start to gel.
Yep.
They're going to understand the receivers a little bit better. They're going to understand the routes a little bit better. They're going to understand the coaches and the signals a little bit better. They're going to see a little bit more film, and we're going to see things get a little bit more competitive. But here we are again, another season where we blew up the teams and everything has to kind of be reset. And here we are. And you can see it in the numbers, because year one, resetting the teams, 9-point spread. About an 8.5 point spread. Let's just look at this. Okay, these are the outliers right here, right?
Yeah, it kind of feels like they are. Yeah.
Look at year one, year one, year one, year one. Yeah, it climbed a little bit, but it's still within a 7 to 9 point margin.
Right. And honestly, if you go back to the total points, this is one that I was surprised by, because what was one of the messages all off season? That we're going to have more points, more scoring. And we've heard this every other year, but it's hilarious. Exact same average per game to start week one. And I thought that was fascinating to me, is that it's been that consistent. And we've had rule changes supposedly to lean into even more so in the last 3 seasons to get more scoring, more points. No punting on 4th downs inside the 50 anymore. No coffin kicks. 4-point field goals from the 60. Exact same result.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, will that continue through the year? I'm going to build out the statistic for our show and moving forward. But fascinating how it's week one is pretty much matching the last 2 years of the UFL and damn near half a point.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty insane. I'll say this, just, we're wrapping up, but a couple things on UFL. I wasn't sure if I'd be a fan of the no punting after the 50. I don't know, man. It just feels like a rule that they put in there to make a rule after seeing it in execution. And there's just this angst as a fan. Maybe it's because of the team I was rooting for, where I'm like, oh God, dude, just lose some yards. You're better off losing 5 yards, right? You know what I mean?
Well, so the loophole is you can't lose it and punt once you get past the 50,
which is even worse.
So you're locked in to a punt.
Yeah.
Once you get past it, without through your down and distance. So, I of what I've watched of it, they did create a few moments, I'll admit, but I mean, I don't know. That's one of those rules I could live with or without. You can tell they're trying to incentivize it for the 4-point 60-yard, where it's like, well, you're not totally out of it, because if you take that risk, you get 4 points if you don't punt. There were some teams that took a bit of that risk, but I don't know. I don't think about that right off the gate, I guess.
The ones that could, Zach, what the hell happened? I can't believe I almost skipped this. What happened to the kicking? Do they have new chips in the ball? Because, Zach, do you remember all of the shit that we had to deal with? Oh, the chips in the ball, the UFL. Oh, look at them dumping out the kickers. But then you look at this season, Mike, I've never seen so many missed kicks in a weekend. I was like, oh. Man, it was not a good weekend to be a kicker in the UFL.
Right. Well, and I guess that's the one counter argument I could hear someone in the background is, well, if these kickers didn't miss, I guess the point average would be up. It's like, you know what, you're right. But also, kickers got to make the kicks. And that's a thing every week. And that could be to the talent of what we have. I'll call fluke. We have 1 week. It could be bad, but, just something to keep an eye on as well.
Now, the only other thing I have to say about the UFL is I got so many questions. I got so many pings. Everybody, let's do a check on the ref. Was anybody see? All of that.
You get I think every year it's been a tradition so far that you get a wellness check after week 1 or so, or a bad beatdown.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of them. I got a lot of them this weekend, and here's what I'll have to say for all the other thousands and thousands. What am I saying? Millions and millions of gamblers fans out there. I wouldn't worry. 12-0 is still on the table. You want to know how, Zach? Clearly, we're going to win the first game of the next season. We're probably going to win all of next season, too. I've been saying 12-0. I've been meaning 24, 36, how many ever, and we let the Dallas Renegades win in that first game. You know how I know? We're the third highest scoring team in the league. That doesn't happen by fluke. That doesn't happen by accident.
This was a tune-up.
You need a well-adjusted team to score the third highest amount of points and lose. That's what you need.
Yeah.
And you need a coach with a good strategy, because here's what's going to happen. Dallas is going to go into this next week thinking they're the man dog. They're going to go in there. Homeboys just broke the record for most yards passed. And then all of a sudden they're going, what's going on? Wait, why are we losing this game? Meanwhile, Houston, we're just going to steamroll everybody, because now everybody, we are forever trap game of the season. People are ignoring that we're the third highest scoring team in the United Flippin' Football League. People are ignoring it. People are just looking at us getting beat down. People are looking at us swapping out our quarterback pretty quick. People are looking at our defense maybe not stopping as many plays as they needed. People are looking at the quarterbacks not just connecting with their receivers. People are looking at, the diversity of plays maybe not being as bountiful as they should have. People are looking at, just the utter disappointment at the end of the game. But I wouldn't worry about all of those things or any of those things at all, because we're going all in, baby. We have a home game next week. I almost said Nelly. We got Ludacris in the house. Ludacris is going to, and I'm telling you, if we don't see hundreds, if not thousands in that building, I will be shocked. I will be shocked. So don't worry just yet. I'm not.
You're not.
Feeling great. Look at this. This is me.
You're always all in, though. You've been all in, rough them up.
This is me in a couple more weeks, though.
I feel the presence of a Silicon Valley CEO over my shoulder.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
This feels a little hot in here.
Yeah.
You know what, though? All in, baby. I'm still on your side. Remember, that is my team this year. 12-0. We're going the distance. This was a tune-up week. We reset. Week 2's upon us, and we're going to go into town, and we're going to have a grand old freaking time as we take on the Birmingham Stallions in our home turf. Are we the kryptonite to the Stallions? Damn right we are.
The answer is always yes. Next week is our week. The beginning of 12-0 starts then.
Here we go.
I have a bone to pick with the damn Orlando Storm admin. They said 12-0 starts with 1-0. No. Don't steal my lines. No. I'm the only one that's allowed to say 12-0 around here, buddy. But you know what? Fine. But don't do it again. You
got to be careful. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Slippery slope, man. You don't mess with the refs. I guess the refs principle. Oh, is it a law of the ref?
Everything's ref's law. After ref's law died, everything's now ref's law.
Ref's law's not the same without the other half of ref's law being.
I'm just glad ref's law died. I mean, well, you know what? We're gonna have to look at the statistics. I don't want to know which team. I really don't want to know which team is inverse of our record, because then I'll autistically be looking at that every week like the damn Panthers, because that was uncanny.
Yeah,
was it not, Zach?
Yes.
This is why I shouldn't say things, because
Absolutely.
I say things and then they happen. I don't know why. It makes me think sports are rigged. It really does. They're like, oh yeah, you think this is funny, ref? How funny is it now? But all right, enough UFL. What else we got on the docket?
You know what? Let's talk about let's talk about something I was doing this weekend. While I was trying to keep tabs on the UFL. And I kind of want, it's a follow-up to our little internet discussion. I believe I sent you this website, but there's a little dive bar in Arizona called Sidewinder, which, by the way, if you guys want to look it up, super 90s website. I'm pretty sure it's intentional how they kept it, but it's really cutesy. They even have a spot where it tells you don't click on this, and just goes to a JPEG of a cat and a dog on there. 3D graphics, you name it and whatnot. I'll tell you, went last night. This place is fantastic. What really caught my eye is because, look, anything down your way in Texas, I'm just like, I look for the Texas culture stuff anymore. And so, on the menu, they have, one of the staples, and I got it right here.
Oh, there we go.
I found Lone Star in Arizona. I didn't think I'd be able to locate it.
That is actually pretty crazy.
I know, right? So they sold in cans, and then, no joke, Bud's moved into this new townhouse, and he wanted to stock up the liquor cabinet. He's kind of bougie. Gets the Jack Daniel's Sinatra Select version, which is like, we're talking like $200 bottle of whiskey right there off the cuff. Then also like a Johnny Walker Blue, and then I'm in this place, and they're selling a 12-pack of Lone Star, which is crazy. But I think this is the perfect time. I just thought about this because, like, I've been down there with you, and the one phrase I like using of yours when I talk to people about Texas anymore is people in Texas love Texas to where they'll buy anything Texas. You slap the Texas flag on anything, and they'll buy it because they love Texas. And I have this original explanation in my head, the mannerisms, everything, just this. They love Texas because it's got the Texas flag on it. They'll always buy the Texas stuff.
It's so
on
true,
the beer,
though.
It's on the food. It's at the HEB.
Well, I showed you. We don't have Budweiser. We have Texas Bud.
Yeah,
we don't
you have Texas Bud. That's right.
It is but that's the best way to put it, Zach. Yeah, we have Ford F-150s, Texas edition. We have Silverado, Texas, and they're like $10,000 more. I'm like, okay, I get it. They're made in Texas, which is pretty damn cool because everything is cooler in Texas. But even Walmart's, they got the Lone Star on the building and everything. So damn right. I wish more states were like that. Arizona there should just be like mountains, whatever that, the Arizona flag on everything. Why not? Arizona's got a cool flag.
Arizona does have a thing that they have. It's called State 48. It's like a brand that's kind of like, it's state centric. And I believe it's something to like promote state culture and all that, which is funny. You talk to people out here and at my job, and the question that comes up about Arizona culture is, what is Phoenix and Arizona culture anyway? And then even the locals chime in like, that's a good point. What the hell is our culture besides desert and Grand Canyon?
Yeah, Cowboys, Native Americans. There's a lot of Native American
the Old
stuff
West
out
comes
there.
to mind.
Old West,
tombstones in the state,
ghost towns. Yeah. Ghost towns. I mean, Arizona's got some amazing.
Arizona's got
culture.
a good history of copper, by the way. Just fun little fact. So,
Zach, you just unsurfaced a memory out of my head. So ages and ages ago, I think I've told you I was in a band.
Yes.
And one of the main reasons I moved to Arizona is because it was one of the few places we would tour that people cared about us. We would go to Arizona and there'd be a couple hundred people at the show. Why? I don't know. There'd be like 10 people in Michigan, but a couple hundred people in Arizona. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So we went out to Arizona a few times, and I went out in like April. We left and it was snowing. We got there and it's like 67 to 72 degrees, something like that. And, you see it, people are walking around in jackets. But as somebody that comes just fresh from the Midwest, you're like, oh, what is this crazy world that we're living in? You mean it's April and I could walk around? Nonetheless, so
squeeze me.
We were a very goofy band at the time. We had, for instance, a shirt that said pants on it and, all sorts of things like that. And I don't know, somewhere in crossing, somebody was telling us, they gave us a tour of like Tempe and Phoenix, and they're like, there's a lot of copper in those mountains. And I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but I was like telling the guys in my band, I was like, we got to do something with that. There's copper. We got to be like, everybody's about gold. Everybody's about silver. I was like, but nobody's all about copper. I was like, we could be the copper boys. And I was telling them, I was like, all we need to do is spend like $5. We'll get a whole boatload of rolls of pennies. And I was like, just imagine flinging pennies out from the stage. Quickly, they pointed out, like, it's just a lawsuit waiting to happen from like a penny jabbing somebody in an eyeball. You know? But yes, I am aware there's a lot of copper in them mountains in Arizona. Again, I don't know why I've not thought about that in 20 years, but
I'm gonna spoil anything with your band because I have now listened to most of the catalog in the recent year. But I don't know, maybe I didn't remember this, but I feel like you would have brought up some sort of joke in one of your songs about like, well, you just go to don't rip it out the walls, head to Arizona.
Yeah.
Go to them there hills.
It's very possible. I know we did. There was I'll have to find them. There's at least a good handful of Copper references on one particular album. It's also the album where there's just a lot of references to pants. Well, I don't know why we did the pants thing. It was a pants because I thought it would. Here's what it was. Think if you had a pants shirt and shirt pants. So like a shirt that says pants on it and pants that says shirt on it. And you can get a hat that says socks on it, or like like maybe gloves and then that's where I was going with this. The pants thing, nobody got it. It was just a shirt that said pants with a picture of us on the front, and nobody understood. And a great Mikey Clark, one of the greatest producers out of Detroit, who's produced Kid Rock, he's produced The Clowns, he's produced George Funk. Mm-hmm. Anybody who in Detroit he's worked with. We worked with him for a little bit, and his advice to us was stop using so many inside jokes because they're only funny to you. And that only made us want to do it even more. I think the song that we did with him, we just named it 8, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it was, so this is why I'm doing a podcast here.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. I got to move around and do a bunch of stuff. Honestly, if I wasn't in that band, I would have never moved to Arizona. And if I would never moved to Arizona, I would have never moved to Texas. If I didn't move to Texas, I wouldn't have been covering spring football, and we wouldn't be doing this podcast. So it all worked out. See, it all circled back at the end. And now here we are talking about Copper and them hills 20 ass.
You can't escape
later.
Arizona. When I live in Arizona, no. I can just bring up anything anytime you want.
I know we do. I need to get out there. We need to figure out, because I was thinking like, okay, what is the event?
Well, you said I need to get my trip down to Texas. For the year. I feel like we need to do like a trade-off trip every year. Like if you come out here, I go out there, and then it's like, and then we can use this. I don't know. I think the double race thing that you just did next year would be pretty sweet. Ooh, yes, yes. I highly recommend, and I don't think we brought this up in the show, but they did just start doing IndyCar out here with NASCAR in the spring. Highly recommend that. And that's next year. My plan is, if I can do it, and I think this would be a great one to line up, because my folks supposedly debating on coming out for that and then never did. They do the classic, if my mom listens or dad, they'll laugh probably. They'll be like, oh, look, it's let you know when it's right. Yeah, I'll see you out there when it happens. So they're just like, hey, I'll just catch you. I'll just catch you a birthday weekend.
Yep.
But
either way, I'll come hang out with your parents anyway, too.
No,
they're cool.
But they're great. They're great parties. This would be a perfect thing. The 2 races set up for the full weekend. Actually, 3, because you also get the division down with the NASCAR, the O'Reilly series, they call it.
Yeah.
That's great, by the way.
You want to know how sad this is, Zach, though? I used to live probably 10 miles from that racetrack in Avondale.
Mm-hmm.
And I never went.
You never went to a race?
I never went.
Man.
I would always, I just never was in the loop. I would only know they were in town because like the Wednesday before the race is when the RVs would start piling up at the Walmart. Like they were just getting there early, waiting, and I don't know why I never did it. Now I'm going to fly all the way out of state and go do it.
Well, I'll tell you too, if we're talking like connection stuff, because you got 2 tracks in your state that I would also not mind going to as well, because Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, which is a really good road course, by the way, hosts NASCAR and F1, mind you, too. And then Texas Motor Speedway is like the crown jewel in that state in terms of NASCAR tracks. Like, I don't know if you know how crazy the attendance is. They used to have sold out crowds of 200,000 people in the late 90s and early 2000s that would go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and pack this place. And that place has dirt track racing, which I do like me dirt track racing, by the way. That is underrated as hell. And Central Arizona Speedway out here, which is just down the road in near Maricopa. That's a fantastic race course as well. It's an hour outside of town.
Another example, though, Zach, of what I was talking about the other week. What the flip? Okay, Dallas and Austin. Let me remind everybody, Houston is the 4th largest city in the whole country. The whole country, not Texas. We're the largest city in Texas. Why Dallas? Why Austin? I'll tell you this. I know the people in Austin don't want it. I know who's living in Austin. They don't want racing and noise and all that stuff.
That does not seem like the crowd I would expect to be a race fan.
No,
I would not expect that. Maybe
move it over here.
Maybe a new age F1 fan, which is like the normie race fan. But no, I wouldn't think NASCAR fans. Not Austin, Texas. For what I understand, it is.
Yeah. So real quick, before we move on to video game stuff, because this just popped into my head real quick, I have to pull up our Discord because I sent you a preview of a message that I just have to get this verbatim. I won't put it on the screen because I don't want to like dox some random lady in my neighborhood. But last week, or the last episode rather, I was talking joyously about the children that were riding their electric scooters off of the bank.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this one.
And I remember, the old lady came out and they had some scuffle. And I said, all they need to do is just bring them out some cookies. It's just boys being boys. And to a certain extent, that's exactly what they were doing. But the timing of it was so funny because we had recorded, and I don't know if this was maybe like 3 days. It was within a week after we had recorded. I know that much.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
And I'm going through Facebook, and here comes a message, and I'll read it up. Somebody needs to come get your kids! ! New line. Huge group of kids on electric dirt bikes, flipping people off and calling grown adults the B word, yelling, "What are you going to do about it, huh?" Those kids are the funniest kids I love it. I can't tell them that they're awesome, but they're flipping awesome. I love that kids are still kids. What are you going to do about it, huh? I mean, what are you going to do? You can't go beat them up.
That's one of those, if you meet that lady in person, you're like, oh man, that's pretty rough. You turn around, just laugh your ass off. Or like the kids pass by, damn kids, and you like go.
Now, I really want to know the beginning part of this story, because I just feel like the kids didn't just turn around and just start calling people the B word. Because I'll tell you, when I drive by and they're doing the ramps, I honk at them and they're like, yeah! Like, so I get a positive reaction out of them if I'm giving them a positive reaction. Now, was this somebody going to them and saying, did you know? Because I already can feel it. I almost said her name, but the lady's name, I could just see.
Easy now.
Did you know there's no electric or motorized vehicles in this part of the community? I could just feel it. And you know what? If I'm 11 to 14, you know what I'm doing? I'm saying the B word. I'm saying all the bad words. And I'm going to say, what are you going to do about it, huh?
Do about it?
It's so amazing. Yes. Yeah, those kids are awesome, dude. I need to get the word out to them and be like, don't use the bad language, but I like the attitude. I like the, whoa, come and get it, huh? That's some Texas shit right there, I think the police came and talked to them. They didn't get in trouble or anything, but come on, Karen lady. Her name's not Karen. I'm just calling her Karen because that's the obvious one to go with. But it's like, leave the damn kids alone. Although it may be the kids' fault. Who knows? They may have been driving in traffic. I know, Zach, this is going to be a story that we're going to follow throughout the summer.
Through your neighborhood of all neighborhoods.
Well, like I said, this is going to be a story that we're going to be able to follow through the summer because the new messages we're about to get up. Whoever's kids are riding around in the red golf cart.
Oh my God.
They cut me off. They did this. They drove over my lawn. And I hate that because it's always the same color golf cart I have. It's always a red or what could perceived is my golf cart to where I drive around. I'm like, everyone's going to look at me now. Like I'm the boisterous kid or something of the such. Anyway.
One final thing I want to ask you about your neighborhood, because we actually do at my work, we do have a few people that did transfer over from the Woodlands, funny enough. And I was talking with one of the women at my work who is from there, and she goes, I mentioned your neck of the woods, out in what I consider the suburbs. She went, "Oh, you mean the countryside? Yeah, he's out in the country." And I was like, I don't know if I classify it as the country. I mean, pretty densely packed for country. You know?
Yeah, but I don't know when she moved away from there, but they are just building. If you like, even when I first moved here, before you had came out, there was probably 50% less things out here than there is now since the last time you came. And since you came, there's even more there. And so at a certain point, there was nothing. There was nothing. That 105 road was just like a blinds shop and a Kroger and like an Ace Hardware. But now it's they're ruining it, Zach. It was the country, which is a shame. Yeah, they're building. Dude, wait till you come out here next time. It's gonna be so much crazier because they're building an HEB.
Okay.
Across from the Kroger, but it's on a hill, and so it just looks huge. It just looks massive.
The monolith of the Texas countryside.
Yep. Which I'm excited that we're getting an HEB that's closer to my house, although there was only one like 5 miles further down the road. Nonetheless,
closer's closer. Yeah.
But you remember? I don't know if you remember actually, but we had the Kroger, and after the Kroger, it was just basically farmland, kind of, or like just grass for miles until you got to the main downtown and the fire department and all this stuff. Not anymore. They're putting in mini malls all down there. I'm like, no, that's why I moved here. I moved away from mini malls.
That is hilarious coming from that you just moved away from a place where I'm at, where it's like mini strip mall central. The East Valley is all that is. It is just strip malls, mini malls, you name a generic corporate ass thing on every corner, every 15 minutes between each other.
Yep.
That's it.
I hate it.
And I've been visiting my buddy who just moved downtown Phoenix. And I'm like, never mind, you know what? I can kind of see the appeal now, because I used to not go to downtown because I had people tell me there was nothing going on downtown. And now I go down there and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to stop listening to those people, because there's actually like some uniqueness to it. That's not like this like American Xerox crap all over the place.
There's some really cool spots. I wish I could remember the name, but yeah, over by the stadiums, there's little hidden pockets. They also do First Fridays down there. But I will mention, if you haven't gone yet, in Tempe, Casey Moore's Oyster Bar.
No, I have. Okay. We used to have that as a regular work hangout. That is, for some reason, dissipated, but that is a good place. Love the outdoor seating, decent food, good beer. Got no complaints. But where my buddy's at is the Garfield Historic District.
Okay, yeah, there's amazing things
just
down there.
Just slightly north of downtown. He's like walkable distance to like the main drag where like Chase Field's at and where the Suns play. There's some great eats there. It's a really walkable place. All the houses are unique in their own way. It's like, this is pretty cool, man. This got some soul to it. I want soul. I don't want just cheap junk foody things. I like soul to where I live. I
wish I could find, maybe it was I'm looking at the bars down there. There was this great place. It'd be funny if it ended up being that Sidewinders place you were talking about. It was an old house, and every room, they had all the rooms with just like little seating areas. And so you would just pick a room and go drink with your friends in that room. So like one room might have like a dart board, the other room would have like a table with like board games, but like it was all like of the age too. So it wasn't like new furniture. It was like older antique furniture. I love that place. I wish I could remember the name. Oh, the Crown Public House.
I've never been, but you already have sold me on it.
This is not it. This is not it at all. No, the name sounded familiar, but I'm looking at the pictures. This is not it at all.
Public house, I'm going to guess it's a pub, right?
Yeah, yeah. Unless they unless they did the worst thing ever and renovated it. Oh no. I'll have to look further because it seems like it's in the right area. This is where I would remember, because I believe it was by the baseball stadium, and then this is right by the baseball stadium. But that must not be it, because I feel like they would get in trouble for doing something.
I'll have to throw that on the list, though, because downtown Phoenix is kind of. I've had my perspective change in just like the last month and a half, and this was the year I told my friends, I'm going to explore downtown, and I'm kind of digging it now a little more. Like it's surprising me a bit more than I remember from last 3 years living here. So definitely on my list. You know, I can't wait around for this conversation anymore, because what is surprising in the worst possible way, and I get drove nuts by it, and I don't know why we had spent few episodes on this yet, is the tech scene right now with these chips and these graphics cards. Dude, it's atrocious right now. And my true last straw, even though I own this already, came with these PS5 with these numbers for these freaking prices this week that came out. $900 for a Pro PlayStation 5. I mean, we're pushing 1K, which is like, I can build a PC in most normal conditions that way. But here's the kicker, Stefan. Even with me going, like some of the arguments and people talking, I could build a PC for $900 with those specs. And then you pause. Can you? In today's market right now, with the graphics card prices, I don't think you can. I just think the whole tech market's just completely, and I will say it's really fucked right now with what's going on.
It's not even just the graphics card too. It's the RAM, it's the hard drives, and especially the RAM, because that's the big thing that's going on right now is there's only two manufacturers.
There used to be three. One of them gave up on the consumer side of the business.
Yep, and I think one of the other one's going to do the same too, to where now there might only be one RAM manufacturer left. And these aren't things that another company could just start making. Like, you need years and years and years of experience to be able to create these fobs and do all these things. Yeah, things are going to be mucked in a bad way. And the sad part is this is how they might finally get their way of streaming gaming, right? Oh, you don't need a big powerful computer, Zach, because there's a big powerful computer in the cloud. And as long as your internet's there, you can game all you want. Oh, what do you mean your internet's out? You can't play any of your games now, buddy? But it's in the cloud, so you don't worry. You won't lose your saves. Oh, what do you mean we got hacked and we lost all of it? Because that's inevitably what's going to happen with whatever cloud service.
What do you mean we stopped supporting that game? That's too bad. It's too bad.
Yeah. It goes to what we were saying last week. I mean, there's something to having that physical game that you don't need to rely on anything, that you could just plug in and go. And yeah, we're getting to the point where it's hard to... Not only, one, you do need a certain skill set to build a computer. Not a very high one. You could learn it by watching a YouTube video, but let's not ignore the fact that everybody isn't able to build a computer, right? Like an 11-year-old kid isn't just going to know how to build a computer. Can they figure it out? Yes, and a lot of them will. Don't get me wrong. But that's already taking a good chunk of what I would say is your traditional console buyer out of the market, because those are the people that a lot of them are buying consoles. Mm-hmm. Or they're like you or me, I just like the ease. I'm a Microsoft boy, so I love the fact that it's kind of the best of both worlds, because I can play it on my PC.
Yeah. And
it does sync my saves with my Xbox, and I can just play here, pick up, and play on my living room. It's amazing. But that's not how most console buyers are. They're buying a console for the ease, or honestly, they're buying it for their kids, or one of those situations to where, and you also don't need to support it. The beautiful thing you could say about Windows is it's always broken, and it always finds a way for you to get more in tuned on how to fix something a little bit more technical, because you've always got to figure some new thing out. Whereas with a console, generally, it's just going to work. And if it doesn't work, you wait for an update, and then it works. Updates are a different story. Yeah, man, I'll say this, though. Video games are an interesting one, because we can look at this and say, okay, they're raising the prices. They're almost hitting $1,000. But I'm old enough to remember when I was a little boy in the 90s that we had the same problem. I mean, there were video games that were $100.
Right.
I believe the 3DO, certain ones, were around $1,000 in 90s.
3DO was, that one was weird, because like the whole set, and great videos on the 3DO, by the way, because the idea of it, I think in theory sounded great to Trip Hawkins and company over EA. But then you got to realize that, and this is what I've learned a lot, is if you sell it to companies that are selling like PC parts or PC focused things, the PC industry is not like the console industry. The PC industry tries to sell on what is your typical like revenues and kind of like compensating for your cost to balance and whatnot. So they're thinking hardware, they're selling the hardware to make a profit. So they're not trying to sell at cost or loss of cost. Consoles sell at a loss and make up a ton more money on the software end with the licensing. And so 3DO screwed up because they sold to PC making manufacturers like a Panasonic or, like a Gold Star at the time, which became Lenovo later on down the line. I believe it was LG or Lenovo. I forget which one. Nonetheless, though, they sold those prices and had to sell at revenue, which led it to selling like $700 in like 1993 for a console. Like, just think, without inflation, that's already bonkers to think about. And now we're at this point where it's like, well, wait a minute, aren't the consoles supposed to be selling at a loss? So like, how much are you losing even with $900 on a pro model at this point? So
here's I think the play. I think this is what they're going for here is I think they'd rather have stock than lose money, right? Because they could sell it at the same cost they could have now. And I think the way they look at it is they're going to sell out. And if they're selling out, that means people are willing to pay more money. To where if they put a higher price tag on it, some of these things might still sit on the shelves a little bit longer, which is a weird way to think about it. It's almost the opposite way to think about it. The unfortunate truth of it all, though, is once it goes up, it's a lot harder to come down.
Or it doesn't come down, at all, which that's the thing. It's so weird. Like, even if we're talking PlayStation, like there's been last few years, Nintendo Switch had a price rise. Everyone's losing their mind over it. Xbox has had 2 of them in the last year, which is weird. By the way, they have a version that you can buy with a 2 terabyte that is basically not a pro model. That's going to rival as already more expensive than the PlayStation. Will then be about the same price as the pro model of a PlayStation 5 come the end of this week. So it's weird, man. Like, these things should be going down, because even if you and I want to talk on like the most popular stuff, they always go down towards the end of the cycle. And I think it's just that's more of a tell of what's happening with the freaking tech industry, with freaking PC parts right now. We have all these companies that want this RAM and this AI, and they want the AI to work because it's the future. It's the future. We're waiting for this bubble to pop. Like, we compare it with like the internet bubble of like the early 2000s, late 90s, and like that's just what's tying in. It's a weird sign of the times thing, because this shouldn't be happening whatsoever. None of this should be happening right now.
You know what's crazy to think about, though, Zach? Think of all the people that bought from scalpers, and everybody said, no, don't buy from the scalpers. You're ripping yourself off. They got a good deal now. When is the last time a console price has appreciated? Like this, I could sell my Xbox Series X for more money than I paid for it 6 years ago. Or when did I think I got it in 2020, maybe it's 2021.
Yeah, I mean, mine's from 21. I got it a year after the launch, because they always this is something you may have heard too. They always tell you not to buy the first round in the first year because they got to iron out the kinks. So you always wait a year if you're like really wanting to be careful, then buy in. That's what I always do. I wait a year or so, and then I get in on the action. Same deal. So I have an OG with like an OG PS5 with the disc drive with it still sitting out there.
I know. And I didn't get one like a fool, but you know what? I'm in the Microsoft thing. That's fine. I did see the Woot.com. It's already sold out, but I was going to send it to you. They had the Switch Mario Kart edition on sale for $450.
Oh man. Yeah.
And I tried to get it to you, but it was sold out already. But then I saw they had the PS5 digital edition today for $389. Sold out like instantly, of course.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, that made my decision on, because I've been thinking about a Pro 5 for like an upgrade, because I'm going to get a 4K TV at the end of the year. Just feel like the time's right. But I've been helping my same buddy who's like moved in down in the Garfield district. I've been helping him set up his stuff. Definitely on the Switch 2 board now, easily. And that's mainly because he's got some solid games. I mean, we played Mario Party the other night. That's a great game too. And like the backwards compatibility, and with all the prices, just tying that price stuff, it's like, I can say, screw it to paying $900 to get a 4K system that at that point would be 6 years old. I'm not guaranteed that they'll wait till 2030, like some of these analysts say, to upgrade to make a PS6 or whatever the hell they want to do with it. So like, there's too much uncertainty, man. I'd rather just get a Switch 2 and just get a new library in a more recent cycle. You know what I'm saying? Just makes sense.
There's not that big of a difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, at least to merit, especially now that it's $900, especially to merit a $900 price tag. Like, you can get a PS5 and it looks fine. You have one, Zach. Does it not look pretty?
It's great. I still have I have an HDT from 2014. Things still, it looks sharp as hell. The 4K TV will make it look better, but like even then, it's like I really don't need it. I just want to get a 4K TV because it's been 12 years. I'm ready for a new TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that time. It's that time.
Yeah,
but I don't really need that Pro. Like the more I think about it, it's like that's if I'm like a hyper fan of Sony. I love Sony. But like, I love all gaming. Why do you think I got this freaking Atari hat on? My thing's been Atari as of late, like this past like 3 months. So like,
for sure. Well, if you think about it too, you could get a Switch 2 and a TV for the price of a PS6 Pro or a PS5 Pro.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Like,
and probably a game. And probably a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pick up freaking Donkey Kong Bonanza. I picked that up right away. That's like my first game I'm getting with that thing when that comes.
Yeah, but it's just nuts. Good.
Like, even like the PC I have right now, like it's a 5-year-old PC, still running strong. Got a GTX 1660 Ti in it, really solid graphics card. I edit pretty regularly on here for some stuff I do on the side. It's good. It's a great thing. But like I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, man, I wish I could get like 32 gigs RAM in this thing or something like that. But then the RAM market, I look at the price, I'm like, that makes no sense to buy RAM right now. Man, it would be kind of cool to like maybe upgrade the graphics card in like a year or two to like something that's beefier. And I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if these prices are going to come down that quick right now because I don't know what the market's going to do with all this RAM. All these people buying these goddamn RAM sticks. What the hell is going on right now?
I know. I'm going through the same thing. I wanted to upgrade my PC. I spent a lot of money on my PC a few years ago, right? Right before COVID. I got lucky. We'll just say that. I built a computer right before COVID, like a month before COVID, it got delivered. So before the shortages, before any of this really even started snowballing into where we are now. But then I started looking, okay, how much would it cost? For the kind of computer that I would want to build for all the stuff that I do, we're talking like over $6,000. And that's for like a mid-level one that I would say, okay. So I'm better off just trying to upgrade if I got the best processor that I could get for the motherboard I have. Okay, that would upgrade it. And then I could probably do a little bit of step up with a graphics card. But even then, now we're talking like $1,000.
Yeah, man.
Building a computer used to be cheap. That's why people built them. That's why there was a community of people around it. It's honestly, and this is crazy to think about, it might actually be cheaper to buy a pre-built PC in some instances now.
Which is weird to
say. And I hate that. I hate everything about that. It makes me feel icky. But yeah, I look around at the graphics card prices, and then you see a PC on sale with the same graphics card, and it's only $200 more, and you're like, well, I mean, at minimum, I could part it out and sell the RAM and the motherboard and just pull the graphics card and probably save a little bit of money. And that shouldn't be how it's done, guys. Maybe that's why this is happening, Zach. Maybe they don't want us building PCs because they want us in this cloud nonsense.
I mean, shoot, man, it could be. And now I'm going to talk on the cloud stuff. It's funny you brought that up. So I have a PS Portal as well. A little device I want to play my stuff. It's basically it's a streaming device. It's a handheld that pulls your signal from the console and it plays it on your handheld. It's pretty cool. I sit if I want to just sit in bed and like play my PS5, and I've actually tested you can play it across country in hotel rooms and stuff too. It's pretty neat for that. But they added a feature last year at the end of the year that allows you to stream your PS Plus Ultimate library, like all their catalog. Yes. There's like almost like 1,000 games on that thing. And I've been playing Jack and Daxter as of late, streaming it on it. It is good. It is good. I'm going to say now to be clear, and we've had this last episode already. So I'm going to hold firm on what I've said. Always physical media guy first. I will always have that. That being said though, they're getting closer. That's the thing. I mean, it was pretty damn 1-to-1 with the latency. I was pretty impressed with how I've played it so far.
I used a couple of those streaming services, and yeah, you're right. They work fine. I just give me my damn game.
Physical always wins out, but they're really trying. They're really
and that's how they're going to get
you
with those subscriptions, man. I'll tell you, the Xbox now is or Game Pass rather is amazing. It's pretty hard. Now they did walk it back a little bit because there was a while where all of the first party games came out day one. They've walked that back, and they've now priced it into a higher tier, which is fine.
Right.
But I look at like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones came out day one. I would have bought that game. Now I got it,
I play that one too, man.
Yeah. That's the one thing I wish I could get the Xbox Game Pass app on the Steam Deck. That's the one. And I understand why they won't do it. I understand. I would love that ROG Ally is very appealing based on you can have both Xbox and Steam.
I feel like you would have bought that by now. Or do they? I know you have that Steam Deck as well.
That's the thing. I got the Steam Deck, and it's I don't know. I always think about maybe I'll sell that and buy the other one, but I don't know. The Steam Deck is nice. It has decent battery.
Well, shoot. You know what's been messed up from this whole thing, like with the chips now and the RAM, freaking Steam Cube. They're delaying it because Valve is so scared of releasing it at a price that it does not match what they are advertising, with it being a in between, that they pushed it back even farther. And then the more this market is now adapted, where it's like RAM just is not going to consumer goods like it should be on a consistent like demand. Valve's now free. I mean, they haven't said it, but like you can tell they're freaking out about it because they're like, well, crap. Now we're stuck in a rock and a hard place, because if we release this thing with a bad price, you're going to have a lot of people that are pissed off and will feel like we betrayed that message. If we release it with lower specs for the lowering the price, we also betray that message, because then it'll not be worth doing it, because you'll want a console instead to avoid the power loss that you wouldn't get from not being PC, and you can't really upgrade it. So,
Here's what I ask of Gaben. In Gaben, we pray.
All right, hey, let's bow our heads and pray.
Gaben, here's what you need to do. Just release the controller. Buy yourself some time. Many people would enjoy it, including myself. For instance, I could plug in and dock my Steam Deck and still play Civilization with touch controls. Amen. That's all they need to do. If they could just okay, yes, you're going to have to slow roll the console. But you know what? That controller, I bet you they got a whole bunch of them just sitting around waiting to go with that console.
I feel like those are ready to go, right?
Just put them on I'm telling you, people will buy them. People will buy them for the Steam Decks. Maybe even buy yourself some time and come up with, you could probably maybe work with that official Steam Deck dock to give it a little bit more power.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And so then all of a sudden you have the Steam Decks. Those have the RAM and this and that, but maybe you just slide some extra RAM. And I don't know, you could probably get a miniature external video card. And let's say you made like a $300 dock. Okay, it's a $300 dock. And then if you add that to the price of Steam Deck, okay, now we're looking, depending on which Steam Deck you get, okay, that's $600. That's affordable. Or it's up to, I don't know what, $800 with the $500 Steam Deck, I think is the highest one they have, or maybe it's $400.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now we're getting a little bit pricey, but that's okay. You wanted the OLED. And so now you have a tiered structure. It buys you a little bit of time. You can already just package the controller that you had already with it. So there might, I don't know. My hope is they will buy themselves time, whether it's just a controller, doing some type of other accessory for the Steam Deck because you look at the Switch is a modern thing, and they use that same logic where the dock has just a little bit more computing power when it's docked in, to where you get a little bit more performance. And the Steam Deck is just a computer. So if you had some external whatever, it would adapt.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Without a doubt. And I do love the Valve. This is one thing, just talking to Valve right now. Their whole message of it's yours. There's no licensing BS behind it. It's your hardware. You get to mess with the hardware. You do whatever you want. There's no legality issues if you were really worried about that. They're a cool company. But so I feel for them, because it's like they have a big reputation to uphold. They're like the most consumer-friendly company in gaming right now. So they really are trying to hold. And I mean, they got to be like, you look at what's happening with Microsoft and like how, even they saw Sony who like bought RAM chips and chips before this, like a year ago, to try and buy time before they had to do this. And I mean, yeah, they got to be sweating bullets because this was supposed to be their big play into the console market for those people. It's just that's a mess for them. I feel bad for them, specifically. I won't say the other companies as much, but like it's all about the ecosystem, and they are hamstrung to the ecosystem they are built in right now is the deal. It's hard. It's rough out there. And actually, I'll tell you this, just based on what I had searched previously, the day they announced these messages, you might as well go on freaking Facebook Marketplace and find a guy selling a used Pro.
Yeah.
Because there's still some decent deals. Now they're coming up now because people are figuring out that they're going to sell for $900. But like, even right now, I could go to Surprise, and I can't believe I'm seeing this stupid deal. I could buy a 30-year anniversary edition PS5 Pro. Wait, that's not right. It's $450 for the regular, but I can find one for $550 or $600 right now, which is $300 down. But that's the thing. The used market's it's like buying a used car right now with these game systems because they're not coming down in price. So the used versions look like a great deal right now for people.
I know it is crazy. And it's crazy because I remember seeing like all the pawn shops had those PS5s so cheap. And I would wager if you look at them again, they're all pawn shops aren't stupid. No, they know what's going on.
They'll be scanning them prices ASAP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it's crazy in the world of gaming. But that's why it is good to be a Nintendo fan because at least the games aren't super intensive for the most part, but they still can look amazing. I bought because they have a sale going on. I picked up Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
Oh, yeah.
On Switch 2.
Yeah.
And I only got on Switch 2 because everybody said, similar to Cyberpunk, they were shocked at how well it looked. So it's better than the PS4. It's not as good as the PS5 Pro.
Sure.
But it's close. It's shockingly good, Zach. And so I still had like $15 left of a gift card from Christmas. It was on sale for like $23. Slapped that gift card on it. I got it for like $10 after tax and all that.
Oh yeah.
And dude, I booted it up and it really does look amazing. It is pretty crazy what Nintendo can do when they try a little bit because there's been some years where the Wii is a great example. I love the Wii, but we've all seen the comparisons of like Wii versus Xbox 360. And then when you look at the Wii U or even the Switch versus like PS4 and Xbox One, there was some dicey conversions there.
Yeah.
But now, the Final Fantasy VII isn't like a new game, the remake, but it is still a newer game, and it looked pretty damn good. And here's the thing, because RAM and all of this is going through the roof, the unfortunate part is I think we're going to see game development kind of stay at a plateau for a while, which for a Switch 2 owner is not a bad thing. Because normally what would be happening in this life cycle, you would be looking at these games and say, wow, these look amazing. But in the back of your head, you'd say, but this console just came out and this game is 4 years old. Right?
Yeah.
But now, because RAM is so expensive, the developers, other than the big guys like Rockstar, who you're gonna if they ever put this thing on a PC, you're gonna need your own cloud to run that damn game. It's gonna be massive, which I can't wait, Zach. I can't wait for GTA flipping 6. It comes out like 2 days either before or after my birthday. Sign me up if it comes out. If it comes out.
Oh, it's not delayed again. It's funny though, because like that game, part of the reason why the PS5 Pro even exists in some eyes is because it's for GTA. Because they're working with GTA to make it specifically for that console to make it look the best on there. But, that was 2 years ago now that we're talking that was supposed to be out by then, and that hasn't happened. But I hope it comes out in the same vein. I've been dying for that game too, and I'll be curious how it runs on my base PS5 because I ain't upgrading that anytime soon. So, we'll see how that goes.
I think it'll be fine. I really don't see a huge difference. So here's the way I always explain it to other people. When I look at the Xbox Series S versus the Series X, I see a clear reason to upgrade. Right? There is a clear line between the S and the X. when I look at the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, that line isn't as clear. I mean, you really just have to be, and don't get me wrong, I like the best of the best, but you kind of have to be like one of those, and you almost need to have like, for instance, it wouldn't even make sense for you to upgrade, not even if you got a 4K TV, you'd need like an OLED 4K TV for it to even make sense to have a Pro, I think. Really, to really maximize that $400 extra or whatever it is for between a regular and a Pro.
Most definitely, indeed.
I'm wondering, so what is the Series X is what, 650 now?
Series X, that is, so there's I think it's so 650 for the base model.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a few variants, but basically it's 650 for the base, and then there's no upgraded version, but if you want like a 2 terabyte version, that's, how is it called? The Galaxy model. Is that, let's see, Galaxy Black is what it's called. That one's selling for $800 right now. No
That's
upgrades.
crazy.
You just get a 2 terabyte disk drive and like a bit better looking shell.
And honestly, you can upgrade the hard drive yourself.
Well, but that's the problem with Xbox though. They're proprietary hard drives.
Even if you open the thing? I don't even know. Oh, man. Oh, that's a bummer. I thought you could just open it up like a PC and slap whatever you want.
So that's the one thing Sony did right with the PS5 that I got to give them street cred for. Microsoft tried to scrub this away by saying, we're doing it because of the read-write speeds. It's like, okay, fair. You know, the problem is when you make it a specific only Seagate and it has to be a specific thing that fits into a certain slot in a specific way, it's going to cost more, and these drives cost more. You can, I mean, credit, they're still ballooning because also SSDs are going nuts right now because of the same tech stuff. Like, try to buy a Sony 2 terabyte SSD right now. No, thanks. I'm not spending the money on that right now. But
I'll say this though, because I'm looking at the prices, they range, but I can get a Western Digital 2 terabyte drive for the Xbox from Best Buy for $122.
Okay, actually, wow. I take
now
that
there's
back.
other ones that go to like 325, and so there's probably a rewrite speed and thing like that. But okay, wow, this has to be external. What is this? There's no way this is an 8 terabyte drive for $200 for the Xbox.
I feel like you are looking at external.
That's external. Okay.
Yeah, because like for example, the big ones for like Sony, Western Digital, and then actually it's just Western Digital. They just did it differently, but Western Digital has their own like PS5 certified. It's like the common one. To do a 2 terabyte one right now, you're spending $330 for that. So, I mean, you're pretty much spending like a used console to get an extra terabyte of storage right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is the new world we're living in, guys. Hopefully you have your games, and that's the shame too with the damn game key cards. You know, like I said, I got that Final Fantasy VII. It's still a 90 gig download,
right?
You know, and and that's the Switch. Just to warn you, Zach, you can't just use any old SD card in your Switch too.
Oh, I learned that the hard way, by the way.
Yeah,
learned that same friend. We were going shopping because he basically was like, hey, and he's like, can you set up my TV and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I can come over. He's a little bit older of a gentleman, so I we're good friends. I helped him out a little, and we're putting this together. I'm like, and I have never bought a Switch yet, and I wasn't thinking about this, but we're going into Best Buy. I'm like, oh yeah, here's a 128 gig card right here. It says Switch, perfect. And it's Nintendo brand and everything, and I put it in, and I look and I look up, and like, well, shoot, that's the problem is they have different read-write speeds for these mini micro SD cards. So you're going to have to go get a new one, which,
not cheap
it's
either.
they very much make it like it's hard to tell because it's the exact same logo, but with a 2 on it now. So there's no real distinction between these card packages besides knowing there's a 2 on it.
Yeah, well, there's some other little logo too for like the off non-Nintendo branded ones. But yeah, I did the same because I have drones, right? And with drones, you need a certain speed memory card.
Yeah,
and so
cameras learned that the hard way a few years ago as well. So I'm with you there.
But then I use the same one for my drone and it won't work, and it's still not good enough for the Switch 2. I'm like, come on now. If it's fast enough for like in real time 4K recording on my drone in the middle of the air, I'm pretty sure it's fast enough to save my damn Nintendo game. Get out of here with this nonsense.
Yeah, I gotta do like a Digital Foundry video or something. There's gotta be somebody who explains why that happens, like some lock in the way it's made. Because that's the same thing I would think is like, why can't I just put this in? I don't know if you had one. I don't ever ask. Do you have a PS Vita? Do you not?
I do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you
know exactly what I'm talking about. The proprietary memory sticks, like from the PSP and PS Vita eras, where it's like, well, you see, we only made these, and they're very small little miniature things, and they cost a crazy amount of money and give you pissant amount of storage. And it's like, yeah, that's why it failed. That is one of the core reasons why that thing failed, is because Sony did proprietary, which they did it again with the PS5 in a way, because for the Portal, the only way you can listen without corded earbuds on the Portal is with a thing called PS Link. It is a proprietary Bluetooth replacement that only works with 2 headsets that they sell, specifically for the Portal and for PS5.
Sony is the worst when it comes to doing, and they love proprietary. I mean, they were the inventors of the Betamax, the Blu-ray. They are all about coming to our, no, we don't want to mess with your ecosystem. All of you other companies are much better using our ecosystem. And you know what? At a certain point, if this was Sony of the 70s, I say you're right. Sony of the 70s, you make the best electronics known to man. Sony of the 80s, yeah, you make the best electronics known to man. Sony of the 90s, well, you make some pretty good electronics, but there's some other competitors out. Sony of now, I'm like, I mean, you make some good electronics, don't get me wrong, but you aren't Sony of the 70s, where you are king of the hill.
The competition's so much by more a margin. Fierce. Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are with these silly proprietary Sony.
I'm just glad I got the buds for a really good deal that was a combo with that Portal, because those things cost $150 by themselves.
That's crazy.
And it is a proprietary Bluetooth system that only Sony uses. And here's the kicker, because I can't even use it for the PS5, because the only way I can do it is if I buy a PS Link USB adapter that goes into the system that by itself costs $30 that I have not gotten out of the way to find. You can't find it at Best Buy because Best Buy doesn't sell the one freaking thing I need. So I have to go online to buy it, and I just haven't bought it because I'm just getting stubborn at this point. I'm like, screw it. I'm not doing this. Sony, you can only get so much money from me over dumb purchases. I'm not doing it for a dongle.
Which is evil too, because like the Portal is something you kind of want headphones for, because you might be playing it outside of your house.
With the earbuds, it's a pretty cool device. Honestly, the earbuds are really good quality for like walking around and all that too. They're my everyday earbuds if I use earbuds. But it's like, dude, this whole thing with like the PS Link stuff, you can only use the PS Link stuff, like to have it for the Portal only uses that. Where like the earbuds still use Bluetooth, by the way, on my phone. I can still use the Bluetooth on my cell phone, but heaven forbid I can use it on the goddamn thing it's designed for instead, because Sony wants to test out something that's probably not going to be existence in the next console cycle anyway. So
yeah. It's funny too, because I can't complain too much. Nintendo is also bad. With their weird,
they're also atrocious with this as well. Yeah,
because they're like online gaming in Switch 1. You had to have a phone app to use to communicate with your friends, and then Bluetooth to your phone. You couldn't even get Bluetooth headphones to work with the Switch 1. I don't even know if you can yet. I know you can with the Switch 2. But like,
I maybe test that.
Come on,
that's a good point.
What is going on? And once I saw that the Switch 2 is selling webcams for the Switch 2 for their game chat, I was convinced that you had to use one of those webcams. Turns out, no, you can just plug in most any webcam and it'll work. But I thought for sure I was going to have to go, not that I would ever use it, but if I ever did, I would have to go buy some weird like piranha plant thing staring at me, or, because no, apparently you can just plug one in. So sign Nintendo up for that.
Thank God Nintendo bent the knee there a little bit. Good for them.
But video games and their ecosystems, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that sounds like any PC hardcore purist talking, because that's like one of those things, and I get that too. Both you and I do PC in their own way. It's just like right now, it's like, man, but it still is hard to, like, if you want to upgrade now, you're just kind of like locked into your little box and hope to God the prices come down so you can upgrade later, because it doesn't make sense to upgrade at the moment as much.
But did you see that link I sent you in the Discord about the PS2 emulation online?
Yeah, I did. We will get that sorted, because we are going to be able to stream on this channel, so that'll be nice.
I looked through the video. It looks pretty simple. It looks like, so basically they have their own online server set up. And so you go into your emulator, you set your network settings. And so what gets me thinking about this though, Zach, in theory, this would work with real PS2 hardware online. Yeah. I got a PS2.
I also have my Fat Boy that I have on my end. Mm-hmm.
Because I think what would be fun, I think we should try to get the emulators working, because that'll be easier to stream. But at some point, because we can, in the year of 2026, we should try to play online with real PlayStation 2 hardware.
That would be cool.
That would be fun.
That would be
fun. I'll have to, I have some type of capture card that will be able to pull that in somewhere. But I think that would be, even if we don't stream it, I think that would just be fun for us to be like, holy crap, we're playing online on a PS2.
Right.
Actually, how would we do that? Because PS2 doesn't have Ethernet, does it?
It does. It has hardline. And I don't believe it's dial-up either. I believe it is, you can use standard Ethernet as well.
Okay.
Like, it has the right modem, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not a dial-up modem. So you should be able to use it. Because, like, I did this with as well, because Dreamcast, you can technically, as long as you have a, I think it's a 45K modem. Yeah. Then you can plug in, and there's still games that are online compatible that the community's kept alive or brought back from the dead by making servers. So that's its own thing. And I imagine Sony, I believe there is a few games out there, trace ones, that are still PS2 online, but it's getting really rare right now to see those. So those are more like if you need a custom lobby, or I guess this emulator would probably be the way to do it.
Yeah. I need to get an Ethernet adapter for my Dreamcast. I'm so angry that I waited long, because now they're not cheap.
Yeah. If you want to do the official way, they're absolutely not cheap anymore.
I have nothing to play because I don't have a phone line in my house. But I used to play Phantasy Star Online on Dreamcast.
Like, that's the only reason
10 years ago,
because there are people that still play this game.
Oh no, I'm telling you, Zach. I say 10 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. But 10 years ago was still like 15 years after those servers shut down. You know what I mean? And it was, there's plenty of lobbies to play Phantasy Star Online, like plenty. And I tried to play it on PC. You just need to play it on the Dreamcast. Yeah. I'm so angry. I had all the Dreamcast accessories too. I had the keyboard. I bought it when it came out, dude. Well, not the day it came out. I bought it when it got priced down.
I was going to ask, did you buy it on the famous $99.99?
No, but I bought it for less than $99.99 with a whole bunch of accessories. And that's why I went to like some record store that I knew the lady, and she was like, "Oh, don't you want to buy a Dreamcast?" I was like, "The Dreamcast is dead." And she's like, "But look how cheap it is." I was like, "Oh, I mean, that is pretty cheap." Yeah. And she gave me, because I got the Dreamcast, I got the keyboard, because I was just going online with that. Because, dude, back in the day, you could get net free, or any of those, NetZero, netzero.com, which you could use on your PC to get free internet, and they would just put ads at the bottom of your screen. You could configure your Dreamcast with NetZero, and it would work just fine because the ads couldn't load. But you could also use it to play games online, which was, think of being a poor kid in the 90s gaming online for free with,
yeah,
that was awesome. But yeah, I had all the cool accessories for it. Now I basically just have the Dreamcast, the controller, the VMU. Most of my games got lost to my siblings, probably selling them, but Zach, you can just burn the games. They're great.
Well, yeah, GD-ROMs. Hell, if you're selling them now, I don't know how much you track the Dreamcast game prices now, but they're now rivaling GameCube, which I got mine a few years ago, and like, here's an example. Picked up Sonic Adventure 2, the Dreamcast one. You know, that one released tail end of its life, was basically after the system was announced that it was dead. $90 I bought it then, which to me I was like, that's still pretty expensive for a retro game. That game's value is now up to like $200 in 2026. Like all the games I have now that I bought then that were like somewhat reasonable, like Jet Set Radio, $80 and $90. You know, freaking Sonic Adventure 1 itself is like 120 by itself. You know, and I have a freaking copy that's a busted up like case, and I'm like happy to have a disc. You know, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm glad I bought it when I did, because I bought that for like 50, you know?
Yep.
So
it's a shame, man. And we're going to see it too. We're going to see it with all of these systems. Like I look at Xbox games a lot. Well, they're starting. That one's starting to creep there.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I look at those at Xbox One games. I look at, dude, you could get them for like a penny. I'm almost like, maybe I should just stock up on these things, because in 15 years from now, all the kids now are going to be nostalgic for their Xbox One games. And those are games that might still work.
Yes.
Once we get to the PS6, I don't even think it's like the resale value, at least. I don't think it's going to be much, because I always look at Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is the great example. 20 years from now, if you just put in a fresh copy of Cyberpunk, you're going to have the worst game ever, because that server is probably still not going to be online to give you the update, you know? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the resale value of modern games are now when they're retro. Where because it's one thing to have a server dependency on an online game, but if you have a server dependency on the fucking game,
yeah, oh my god,
you know, like,
I mean, think about this though, man. Like the Xbox 360 is 21 years old this year. The PS3 just turned 20 this year. I mean, technically not to the end of the year, but still, it's 20 years old. Like it's 06 it released, it's 20. And I the other day, as you know, I have one of the OG ones now as well. And that's kind of weird. Like getting in there and playing that again, that's a nostalgia trip. But like then you realize, like, man, it's been some time now.
Yeah.
That was high school memories. High school was a while ago for me at this point.
It's always weird going back to old consoles and realizing on most of them you have to turn it off and turn it back on to play a new game.
Yeah.
Like I pulled out my old school DS for like the first time in a long time, and I was trying to exit the game. I'm like, that's right. You have to turn it off and turn it back on to get to the main menu.
Yeah.
And then pick another game. It's so foreign now, because everything's just, multi-apps running at the same time. Oh, no,
it's weird. Most of you get home screens now more so and all that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's weird. It's weird to think about that, you know?
Yep.
I love that you were talking retro, because one of my favorite moments that we were going to discuss for this, Fishtank with the freaking LAN lobby. Did not see that coming.
Wait, which one now? Say this again?
The Xbox, the computer lab. Oh, the computer lab.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, it would only last for a couple days. Fishtank. So we're about halfway through now. Before we get into the computer lab, our rankings are kind of thrown out. Charity's gone. Half of the people are gone.
Charity barely lasted any time. She, as they said, she came in, had their drinks, and freaking dipped.
Yep. Well, and this is what I think. Remember I said maybe the first episode, maybe the second one, I said Fishtank fans are schizophrenic. They're going to complain either way, this and that. They don't understand the joke, blah, 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 blah. I won't dwell out too much on that. But I see Jet complaining about all of the fans angry at him for this season. And I don't know about you, Zach. I actually enjoy season 5. I think season 5 is pretty good.
I've been having a trip with it this year.
And here's the thing that I think some people understand. So some people are just being trolls. That's half of the people. But then the other people that are just complaining to complain. Here's the thing. You can't go full Fishtank from the start, or everyone will leave. They barely went Fishtank, and they lost 2 people in the first day.
I know.
Right? So
this has to snowball, be perfect, but that's crazy though. And the thing that's even crazier to me about those people leaving early is this feels like more so than even in previous seasons, that there's more people that know about the show on this one than they have in the past. And some of the earliest ones were the people that knew or should know what they were getting into in the first place and bailed.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
Bezo
seriously.
was a fish tank Discord moderator. How did he
I can't
get
believe
bullied
that
out of the
happened
house?
too, by the way.
Yeah.
First dude out? Or like, what, 2 days? Max?
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I love it. But we still got the big ballers around. Bashir, first one eliminated, first one back. First one back, thank God, because my man, and he's really coming into his own now.
He is.
James Drake is really good. And there's been some lore about James Drake since we've talked about last. So he was actually casted to be on season 3. So where they did Famous House.
Yes, I heard about this.
I love it. And so they had him all the way through to the end, and then they send him the contract from a Fishtank email, which tipped him off onto what Fishtank was. And so they didn't bring him on because then it would ruin the whole joke, because we're actually up to episode 4 now, I think, of the season 3 episodes. I haven't caught up because I'm too into this season. I'll just watch them after the fact.
I'm kind of in the same vein. I want to stick out because it's getting good. It's been really getting good the last week or so.
Again, people are so complaining. It's amazing. This season is so good. It's so good. One, they have the nuke, which is just the cup of what Anissa's bodily fluids, we'll say. We won't go into too much detail. It's disgusting.
Yeah, God damn it, dude.
But, James Drake. So he's finally starting to, like, understand what the game is, but he still spirals a little bit because he'll listen to the TTS. The twins are still in there. Landon's in there. That's it. We have Bashir, the twins, James Drake, and Emma. Emma's easy to forget.
Yeah.
I hate Emma. Empty Emma. Bashir was so right. Empty Emma. There's nothing there. She'll just do whatever TTS says to try to, like, do something, or she just sleeps all day. She's boring. I just want her to go.
You can't have fish sleeping all day, and that's what'll cause that. And honestly, that's one with, like, TTS is going to get to a person like that, and kind of has at times. The recent Fish Tank Digest I watched, I think it was day 14. Shear said it best. I thought this was fascinating. Was the quote? "Oh, the productions give me any quirks or anything to deal with. I'm playing for keeps. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that's being scripted to win. I am the one that is playing this the most serious, and they haven't been effing with me as much with weird stuff or like quirks. So he's getting locked in. This guy is I'm hell bent to winning this game. I am going to be the alpha male or alpha in this house now. And it probably helps that James Drake is becoming like the typical fish tank participant that goes from, I'm a rationally sane person at the beginning of the house to now the last few nights as we've recorded, this is day 15 that they were on yesterday. And it's now he's actually mentally losing his mind.
And that's smashing the wall with the chair.
The beauty of fish tank is watching someone degrade into debauchery over the course of a stretch because they're losing it, because it's just everything's starting to pile on eventually and it just starts coming out.
All for $50,000.
All for $50,000
before taxes, of course. James Drake's doing. I like it. I like the progression. We have a solid core. As long as they get rid of Emma, we have a really good core left. JD left earlier today as we were recording, but I knew that was going to happen because I think it was week 1. He was in the bathroom with Head, and the microphone picked up talking about how he had to go back. He only took 2 weeks off of work. And so here we are 2 weeks later. Now he's going
Stocks was already down at that point because of that. So
good riddance. At least we didn't waste a competition or a bullet on him. Now we just need to weed out Emma. We'll be down to the top 4. But I'm curious, Zach, because this top 3 is hard. Top 3 is actually hard looking at this
production
list.
Starts getting psycho around this time with their ideas. I'm glad, by the way, they brought the bed stealing back. I don't know why that was gone. And I saw one of the biggest complaints from previous season stuff being gone. This is what we talk about with the insanity starting to get turned up. Was someone brought us bed stealing hasn't been around for a minute. And I thought about it, that's a good point. They kind of bailed on that. Why did they stop doing that? It was one of my favorite parts of seasons 1 and 2. And then all of a sudden, a few days ago, I'm Bed stealing's back. I'm like, yeah, baby, stealing the beds, throwing people off, messing with the sleep schedule. This is Fishtank. This is the Fishtank I want. Not a fully Hell House, but it's close to Hell House. I'll take a little bit of Hell House in my Fishtank again. Thank you.
They had a fish toy. I can't remember what season. Maybe it was season 2, where you could raise or lower the temperature in the house.
Season 1, and some great. By the way, X has been like awesome for keeping up and like talking with reading through old Fishtank like followers and like the new guys joining in, and the logic made sense. Where it's like, why did they remove that? And someone's like, well, they can do that, but like, how do you know they're doing that, or how can you tangibly tell they're doing that? And then you have to keep track on like who engaged the fish toy, and so like that one was like harder, you know. But no, bed stealing, I love that that's back, and they need to keep that one forever, and then like start building on that if you want, like for like, because that's the big thing I've seen is like, what other fish toys can they do? You know,
I'll tell you which one I love: Dance Monkey. They made Landon do like 10 dance monkeys in a row the other night.
Too, I like that one a lot
because it's not funny until it really is funny when they're just trying to go to sleep. And they come in with a stack of papers, and they're like, all right, buddy, time to dance. Pep talks are really good.
Yeah.
The AI, they're all just like chat GPT pep talks. But this is why I like Bashir, actually, because Bashir is a man of the fish tank. Like when Landon had to do like 10 of those dance monkeys in a row, you know who was there dancing with them? Bashir. Bashir's always giving people good advice, trying to help them out. And they try the other teams. This is why Emma can't win. Emma hates Bashir. Emma hates Bashir because she's nothing. She has no personality. Bashir is all personality. He is, I want him to win. But I don't know. The thing with him is I don't think he cares about winning. I think he would be happy if he makes it to the final 3 and helps either Landon or the Twins win. I think he would be fine with that, which is fine, but I don't necessarily want that. I want people fighting for that top 3.
It is so strange that the Twins are still like considered one thing, because I feel like production's going to do something with that at some point. Like they've been like buying time on finding a way to jack that up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'll see how that works. I do appreciate that they've been tethering them though. Have you seen that?
I've seen that too. Yeah.
Man.
What was it recently? Now they got the freaking the dragon's wings going on.
Yep.
And they've been doing that.
Oh, speaking of before the dragons, did you see the clip of Jet waking him up in the middle of the night with the 3D paint on his body and telling him that he's an alien? And because you know, the 3D paint, once you put the light on it, it shines more. So they turned off the light. And when they moved that light, they were unironically like, whoa, why is it shining? To be Bingo and Bongo must be just an interesting way to live. I'll say that.
It's an experience, I guess.
Top 3, though. I mean, as much as I hate Emma, she could make it. It could end up being Emma, Landon, and the Twins, which I would hate because that means Emma might win. And I think it should be the Twins or Landon or Bashir. Honestly, I think those are the 3 that should win. Actually, I don't mind anybody winning other than Emma because James Drake makes sense too for not running scared.
Yeah.
And just being like a normie and sticking with it and just rolling with the damn punches.
I feel like production's not going to let Emma get there. Like it feels like that's just too boring for a final 3 contestant. To me, what makes Fish Tank's like contestant stuff great at the end of the season is you want the guys that they have greatly changed and have become mentally adapted for better or worse from the house and the TTS and the insane craziness that is production's game. And so like kind of feel like Emma will get knocked out, and then I'm kind of a toss up between who gets knocked out between like James Drake and like the Twins to me. Because I feel like Bashir and Landon, the freaking community loves Landon. So like it feels like they're Landon's and Bashir are like heading for a crash course for the top 3. So who do you cut from there? Like the Twins have a lot of great social media but also James Drake's going like slowly into a psychopathic rage with every new day. So it's golden TV to me, you know?
Well, and they can't cut James Drake because they were just talking to him the other day about, because we haven't talked about this here, but they opened up the arena and we saw Landon just get beat down by Ben.
Dude, Ben gave him a cold cock where I'm like, oh, that's almost borderline too mean. Like, freaking ended him on the spot.
Yeah. And I just love it. 10 seconds, Landon. That's all you lasted. And he walks out. Amazing. And then, we saw JD and Jet, which was pretty good. JD held his own a little bit. Jet got bloody, but Jet was not backing down. I love Jet just mogging him. No, I don't box. Let's go. And he was trying, But then they told James Drake, they're like, well, we really don't have anyone here that can box you because it's just not. It's unfair to us. You'll easily kick our ass. The best we could think of is if it was like us three versus you, and that's not fair. So they said they were going to have Wes, the web developer of Fishtank, flying from Finland to fight him. Now, maybe it will be Wes. Maybe. I don't know. I know kind of what Wes looks like, but I don't know how tall he is. So maybe if he's tall and slender like James Drake, that would work. I don't know. I got a feeling, though, that they're telling them they're going to bring in Wes, and they're going to say, oh, our web developer here, Wes, showed up, and it's going to be like a monster. Or this would be a really funny opportunity to bring in Sam Hyde, because he's the only one that really doesn't know who the hell Sam is.
Yeah.
Everybody else would. He wouldn't. Is it the web developer? I don't know.
Could you imagine if they did do that? I mean, it would kind of be a good time to do it if they are going too soon, because of the fact that the current host is away for the moment on personal.
Well, he's back now.
Oh, he is.
He showed up today.
He did return today. Okay. Yep. So maybe, all right. So they would have to find another way to circle it in, but this is still possible. I say that. However, that being said, I mean, it's interesting because this ties into something that's been a big conversation piece all season. And we knew this was going to be. But it's almost like I've seen this is about as mixed as like how productions handled like removing old events and like switching up on the fly and like Jet talking to people in the after show. Is Bam a good host? Have they done the right choice, or should they reset? And he's just been like there and then gone for like a few minutes a day? Because like there are some days it feels like he's there for like a bit and then he just completely dips. It's not like Gold Striker. Or like, who was the famous one that he was doing, Sam's personal ego in season 3?
I can't even remember the damn name. Jason Gold.
Jason Gold, yeah. So it doesn't feel like that. But like the Bam clips they've had of him on the show, like it's been funny stuff because he's kind of like as you said, he's kind of like a normie host. So he's reacting actively to the chaos and like the debauchery in the house. And it's almost like nervous laughter sometimes that he'll like dive into it too. When it's on, it's on. But it feels like he's not as available, and I think it's what people are not as happy with. He's not as available as like what Sam used to be, because it's not like directly with MDE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll say this: at the beginning of the show, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was going to be good. I wasn't sure if it was going to be bad. I wasn't sure if it was going to be weird. Whatever. A couple weeks in, I don't mind it. It's different. Don't get me wrong, but I will say, Bam plays it up. The one criticism I have is he's very bad at spoilers. He'll always leak what's coming to these guys. Like when they did the typing test, he would say, well, it's going to be a typing test, but it's big, so it's a little bit different. So everybody already knows it's a big keyboard, right? Yeah. So it's like, Bam, what are you doing? Oh. But at the same time, some of the TTSs that Bam has been sending shows that Bam actually understands the show quite a bit. I wish I had them in front of me, but he was saying some really funny things to JD.
And to be fair, he did show up for a little bit of a segment or a little bit during season 4. So like, I think that's one thing that like people don't realize, and like something I got reminded of is like he was already kind of familiar with how this works. It's just now they're asking him to be like, okay, now we want you to be more directly involved and like trying to do this, which like. Again, I say this, when he's on and like in on a constant time and like doing the crazy stuff, he can do it. It's just, I feel like sometimes because of he's not fully attached with them and he is technically like almost like independent of the show. Whereas like Sam is still part of the same group that like Jet and Ben are, that like, it kind of feels like he can kind of go on his own whenever he wants. and kind of step away. And then it feels like it's isolated in moments where they need someone to like rile up the fish, you know? And so Jet and Ben have kind of taken over that role of like, okay, well, if we can't keep Bam around as much, we need to be more of the rile and shit stirrers in production this year, which they've gotten comfortable with, but it took a few days to get used to that. And now they've embraced it, it seems fully, where it's like, all right, we have to be that. Like, we have to be what Sam used to be. And it's kind of grown into its own, I think. I think they've really grown into that role much better now.
Yeah, no, I think even part of the show has been scripted to be this way. I think part of the script has been, we're going to come out with this season. The first half, we're going to tell everybody we want it to be a little bit different. We want it to be more structured. We want the cast to work like a traditional reality show to rile up the fans as well. Because as I've stated in the past, part of Fishtank is you are part of the tank as well, right? There's gaslighting all around. So I think this is even part of it. And honestly, I don't even look at Bam as like the host. I see him as a group of part of the hosts, where Ben and Jet really is the host and Bam is there as the host for the people in the tank itself. So they think, and they treat it like a real show. So for instance, James Drake, he's, things have changed since then, but at the beginning he's thinking, oh, it's a reality show. Oh, wow, they actually have a big name host, Bam Margera. Yeah, I know he's been around doing this thing for a while, but that's a name you recognize. Probably wasn't expecting that. So it does help because, again, nobody would know. I mean, not nobody, but he probably wouldn't know who Sam Hyde was, right?
Yeah.
And so it helps plant that seed that this is a real reality show. This isn't Hell House. Oh, these are just funny messages coming through. You can't control what these people say. And then slowly, the madness builds. Bam steps away more. Now you're being tortured. I love it. But yeah, Bam's back in the house now. We will see. I don't know what they have planned for today. But again, we're halfway through. So we think. In their contract, they can extend this season. Jet has already alluded to that they bought an RV to continue driving around after the season. But we know how well that went the last time. So if they do it, I want it to work.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know, man. I'll be frank, like season 3 when they left and went out, I remember like catching a few stray clips here or there, but I wasn't like doing what I did this year. I'm like analyzing all the social and all the clips and keeping up with it really good. So like, I remember them going around Vegas a little bit and all this stuff, but like, I don't know, Fishtank's Fishtank because you're locking in isolation away from everything. So like, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know. I feel like that doesn't work as well as what they want it to be. Something's got to be changed to do that. So right.
I don't mind it if it's a separate thing. So I look at it like Real World and Road Rules, right? And so Real World they were basically the same show, except for it was Real World in an RV. And so I envision like, okay, now you have 5 seasons of Fishtank. You have 5 seasons of people that have been on the show. It would be really cool to have like a Fishtank All-Stars Road Rules style. So like, okay, you have a couple, Bert and John and Mizzy and whoever, right, stuck on an RV for like a 2-week road trip. Like it doesn't need to be a full 4 or 8 weeks, but like a 2-week road trip across the country. Make them stop at the Grand Canyon. Just make them go to dumb tourist stops. I think would be funny, right? Now the challenge that you have, because the internet is the internet and the Fishtank fan base is especially internet-y, is I saw this in season 3 when they were driving around. The second that people figure out where they are, they start calling in like fake bomb threats to wherever building they're in.
Yeah.
And so I would watch, like they would go to a restaurant and within like 3 minutes, their phone would just ring nonstop. And then they would leave and go to a gas station. Same thing. And you would watch it at every place they went, the phone would start. So you have to, I don't know how you work against that. You have to
really
like
tough,
keep the camera on the inside and then pick your spots. Like, okay, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon and there's nothing we can do about it. And people are going to know that, but you can't let them know that you're at a diner or a shop because they're They're going to do it. And you never know what the cops are going to be like.
Well,
you know?
I mean,
really
that's
don't.
why we're in this whole situation where the reset in the first place with like, I believe this is supposed to be the house in the moving forward. Like they're not trying to sell this and buy a new one moving forward again, right? I thought
Who
that was the whole
knows?
point. Was this one was to
Yeah.
not sell it and keep it as the Fishtank house? I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Definitely find out.
I really like the idea somebody had brought up of them buying a warehouse and just building like almost like a TV studio.
Right.
Building the rooms in a warehouse to where then like every season you could just change the
and even
rooms
if you break
around.
stuff, like it's
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
modular.
because it's a warehouse. So
yeah,
that's a thought. Let me ask you this, because I also am not familiar as much with these. What are the locales for like Blood Games and Bitch Tank? Because like I've seen these come up this year because they're comparing a lot of the Bitch Tank stuff from like, the girls that have been in the first few days and like that. And I remember some Blood Games things, but I'm not as familiar with Blood Games, and Blood Games has a lot more outdoor shots that I've found. So like I assume that it was a different locale and different theming and all that too.
Blood Games. So I'll tell you this. You mentioned Blood Games and Bitch Tank. One of them is the best thing that Fishtank ever done, and one is the worst. Blood Games is the best season of Fishtank. And it was not even like a real season. It was season 2.5. It was Fishtank All-Stars, but it was all outside. They had to sleep outside in like these bunks in the woods. And it was all role-playing. And so they had characters, but they had to act like wizards. And there was dwarves and goblins. And Sam was a vampire. And
That's okay. That's a clip I've seen before.
so they're finally putting out the episodic versions, I guess, this summer. I've been waiting so long because Blood Games is just amazing. There's a character called Xavier who won't even do any justice of trying to explain it, but one of the greatest creations from Fishtank ever. And still, and even though it's like role playing and scripted, there's still crash outs. I'll spoil it. Morrow, he leaves early. Big surprise, just like season 1. Yeah.
That's right. And I love him for the sake of like, you watch season 1. Oh, he's back. That's amazing. He left again.
Yep.
He couldn't handle it a few days.
Every season you get it. I saw it like on day 2 of season 5 this year. I saw a bunch of people memeing. Morrow has officially left the tank. He wasn't even in there, but he still left. He found a way.
I can't. So I'm definitely going to watch those. But like, that's kind of the thought I had was like, Jet has brought up as well, and they've been experimenting too, because I want them to keep doing it. And I get that this probably costs a lot to do between getting the full edited shows, maintaining a house, possibly having to relocate so you're not having to fight local officials if they get caught on to what the hell you're doing and they don't like the noise or coming from that, or repairing your place. I mean, like, I get it. And so like you see him switch from Kick for live streams for better monetization, and like he's talking about, what can we do to keep you guys on board for that $10 a month past the season so we can prep for the next season while also not like having to be hamstrung to only seasons making that revenue. And like, that's got to be my thought, is like, you got to have some like alternative version again. Because I mean, I remember this too. They used to try and sell like private fish tank experiences for a little bit. Like that was like season 1 too. They had ads for that. Like you could buy it if you had the money, You
can still do it. Arye was talking about getting it to have a date with the twins, and God, I hope they don't let him do it. I hate Arye so much. I hate him so much. Don't let him in the house. They'll do it, but you got to have, I can't remember how much it was, but it was not cheap. I think that one's a tough sell, but yeah, I would like to see more of that. Like, I do like the you can send love letters now. So that's kind of funny. I think you can send that you can actually communicate with the people. We talked about the Xbox Lab. People instantly found out what those usernames were and were sending messages back and forth. JD was talking back and forth with his damn girlfriend on the Xbox.
There were some wild ones that were coming from the computer lab messaging again.
Yep.
There's some wild
It was like
stuff.
the old days of Xbox 360 Online, was it not?
Was it not? Hey, you know the new ad that they have that I love too? Act like it's 2007.
Yep, that is true. Yeah, they have really good ads this year. There was one point where they were upset at everybody in the chat. So they were just running ad after ad if you were in director mode. So me, it's funny. Maybe just because I like Fishtank, I've been subscribed since they've started subscribing. Even when there's no season, I just let it run. Because I really love Fishtank. It's the one show that really gets me. It really, really understands what I'm looking for in entertainment. And so for that, I'll spend $120 a year. You know what I mean? Will they get me on Basement for $100 a month? I'm afraid to say no. I cannot spend $100 for a Telegraph chat. I would if I had the money, bros, but I can't. Now, if they could put in some extra perks there, because I could see myself paying for Basement during the season. I'll say that. So if they gave me, like, Jet, if you're listening, triple XP, discounts on TTS, some like half off TTS. If I'm paying $100 a month, I'm still paying $15 per message or something.
Just don't allow for grenade spam, and then we're good to go.
Well, they finally got rid of all that nonsense, so I'm finally leveling back up.
I mean, they've been reacting to it, so I was hoping they listened, because like early on, that was a complaint coming back up was, man, I hate grenades. They're a useless thing. People just spam these things and all your XP disappears.
Well, I was that guy. Thankfully, they put refunds. They now under the inventory, you can just click a button to get a refund for this stuff. Do you know how stacked up I was with war toys for this season? I have one called a Special Military Operation that will kick 1/5 of the clan that you target. It'll just kick them out of the clan. And I had like 20 of those just ready. And I had a whole bunch of grenades, and then they took it all away from me, which is fine because now my XP is going up. But yeah, I went from like 500 down to like 100. I'm back up to 136 now.
Oh, so I was curious. I'm sorry. I'm looking through the shop again, and I want to see. I haven't seen the fish toys in a minute because you brought up that there's the new dance monkey one.
Yeah.
First scene. I already just thinking about that for a second as well. Tuna delivery, fortune delivery. Oh, this is good. This is good.
The 4 scenes are really good because the other night, JD and Laura, the new freeloader, he was so pissed at her. Like legitimately pissed. And so people kept buying 4 scenes for them because then they have to go in a room and act out a scene. And it's so amazing. And somebody bought Landon 2 4 scenes, so they had him do like a scene. And then this next scene was the exact opposite of the scene that he had done before. And they're like, so whichever you decide, now we have a scene ready for it. I'm like, that's great. Yeah. And I saw Bashir got like a little packet of tuna delivered to him the other day.
I hope that they just keep leaning back into like the older ones or like ideas that are more like along the line of season 1 and 2 toys. Cause like, this is the stuff I live for. Like I said, the bed snatcher thing, I remember the first time I saw that when I was watching with you with the edited down episodes, I'm like, this is freaking gold. Just having some random guy come in and just go, nah, F your sleep. Just take the damn bed. That's what I live for. That's Fishtank to me. It's just the absolute insane debauchery of a reality show. There's nothing like it.
The one I miss, and I don't think we're going to see it this year because I got a feeling they just can't smoke in this house. Otherwise, they'd be smoking.
The cigarette delivery.
I would send people like 5 cigarettes at a time because they would make them smoke them all. And so there would be like, I just remember Taylor, I sent her like 5 at once. She had all of them in between her fingers and just having to go through each one. I love it. That's my favorite thing to do. So, but we're getting to the end game. So I would anticipate some of these are going to get worse as we get to like the final week, you know?
Well, we got one more room to unlock in 2 days.
Yep.
So very fascinating to see what happens with this new one. So we'll cap it off here real quick. Final, what's your definitive final 3? I think if I'm going in my head, it's going to be Bashir, Landon, and then, man, it really is a coin flip. But I'll go with the Twins. I think they'll keep
tough.
it. I think they'll keep a boy girl split to go through the final three, and I also feel like James Drake's going to crack and leave. I think he'll keep going down this insanity path that he's going, and he'll eventually just go, F it, I need to get the hell out of here. One of these TTSs will go off, and he'll just say, nope, I'm done. This is it. I mean, that's why he smashed the chair into the damn drywall in the first place, because TTS was getting to him. So I'm like, it's coming. I feel like he's going to be gone soonish, within like the 20-day limit mark or something like that.
I don't know. I'm torn. So I'll start with, I think we'll see Landon and the Twins there.
Okay.
In the final three. I think we'll see both of them. But are we going to get Bashir or are we going to get James Drake? And so I could see this happening. I could see production looking at Bashir thinking he would rather let the other two win than himself.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, they might rather have James Drake in there. So I think that might be my official is James Drake, the Twins, and Landon. But I want Bashir to win. I'm still team Bashir all the way. He's my favorite fish of this season, at least. I'm on there. I think James Drake, so here's my other thing. We still haven't figured out who the plant is.
Oh, right. I almost forgot about that.
James Drake could be the plant.
Yeah.
I could see him being the plant because I look at this. Okay, he's a normie.
That's right.
But he hasn't been scared off. He's been here, and knowing that he was cast in season 3, but didn't go to season 4.
Maybe.
But is in season 5.
Maybe that's why he's starting to get deranged. Is like, this is just him turning up the heat. Maybe that production's getting in his ears like, hey, you know what? Now it's time to go nuts. You know? Now it's halfway. That would track a lot. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
Now, if he's the plant, I don't think he'll be in the top 3. I don't think production would actually let a plant win. Although, if he is the plant, I want him to win. I think it would be so funny if the plant won the damn season, but I just don't think so. That's my prediction. I do think he will be in the top 3. I want Bashir in there. I don't think Emma will make it. If Emma makes it, though, I could see her. She's Letty Light. She wants to be Letty Light. And so there's glimpses of her being an insane fish. That's why I fear. I just don't want her to win because I hate her.
Mm-hmm.
But she could become a good contestant if she gets into the top 3. We'll see. Because I was watching her last night just puking in a bucket to try to win a challenge. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's pretty gnarly. But then she went on to cry for the rest of the night and sleep. So, all right. What can you do?
What can you do? Yeah.
But those are our final 3. We'll probably have another episode before the final episode. Let's see. When am I back from? So I'm back the 13th. This should probably wrap up, the 18th or the 19th? So we should be able to maybe get one in.
Yeah, if it stays on schedule, like they say,
If not, we'll do one after the season ends to do like a recap and all that. But yeah. But here, we should have brought this up at the beginning. One other thing, too. We put it out on social media. What else do you guys want us to talk about? This is the Boys Club.
Right.
If you're on this channel, you've joined the club. We want to know, what do you want us to talk about? This is a show for the boys. Clearly, we talk about whatever the hell's going on in our life. Soon, Fishtank's going to be over, so we're going to have one less thing to talk about. Soon, the UFL is going to be over. Funny enough, it just started. But, give it 8 more weeks.
That's
it'll
true
be
too.
Basically done. We need topics, things. What are you guys interested in? Because I bet you'd be surprised. We're probably interested in a lot of the same things that you are as well. I'm imagining we'll be talking more about motorsports and maybe even baseball as we get into the summer. And I'm sure we'll have some other things popping up as well.
Your Pistons are NBA Finals favorites. So, I mean, that could be going well, too. I would love to be talking about that.
Which, actually, I need to bust out. I got a custom jersey for the Pistons.
Did you?
I got the ref.
You have a ref Piston? No freaking way. I got to see this.
And I got the, what do they call it? The city, whatever the city styles that they call it.
City editions. Yeah.
City editions. Yeah. So they have like it's like modeled to be the Detroit Bad Boys, but it's like a Pistons jersey. Oh. So I had to scoop that bad boy up with the ref on the back. Now, because I bought it for last year's playoffs, but then it showed up the day after we got eliminated. I'm like, only my luck. Thanks for reminding me that we got eliminated from the playoffs, but now I got it ready for this season.
That was a sign of things to come. That was because, hey, it's a new year. We're back to square one.
Hell yeah, we are.
Like that.
And with real basketball, too. We have a couple injuries, but I'd rather have them now and get into the playoffs. And we're still doing all right. There was people, oh, you guys won't win 4 games without Cade. You know what we did? We won the first 4 games without Cade, baby, because you know what? You know the Pistons won again. We can't help it. That's all we do. All we do is win, win, win. Speaking of, man, DJ Khaled, was that a performance? What was going on there?
That was a performance of a time.
Yep. I hope they got their money's worth. I hope they feel like they did.
Orlando.
Yeah. Somebody said it was on. I went to flip it on and it was over. I was like, wait, what the hell?
That's it?
Yeah.
Goodness. Freaking Patchy the Pirate and SpongeBob. Yeah. That's it.
Yep.
That was the whole damn halftime show.
See, now if that happens next week in Houston, I won't feel so bad, right? Like if Ludacris comes out and he's just like, yo, what up, Houston? And then leaves, I'm like, okay, now I'm not mad that I missed that.
Careful now. Some of those people will say that it's Ludacris.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. They 100% will. That is true. What else? I think that's it. Final thoughts?
That's pretty good. Yeah. Like I said, basketball and all that is wrapping up. And then Fishtank will have the next one. You're going to be going on a cruise. I'd love to hear from that. We'll definitely chat some stories next episode about that as well. I don't know. I'm trying to get a damn fishing trip before the end of spring. I'm going to do that next month. I just need to pick a day and commit and find a state park. I'm going to catch that carp or that bass. I'm telling you, man, I had a carp last year on the line, fell off the hook on a canal. I'm getting that damn carp this year before it gets too hot.
That's why you need to bring a handgun with you, Zach. Once you got it on the hook, you just aim and pull the trigger. It ain't going nowhere.
You know what? We'll go shopping, maybe. I don't know.
So I used to make that joke when I was a vegetarian. Funny enough, I would just say,
have I asked you if you've been a vegetarian before? I don't feel like I've heard this.
I don't know. Maybe we haven't talked about it, which, yeah, it makes sense because I wasn't a vegetarian when I met you, but I was a vegetarian for like 18 years before I met you.
I did not know this then.
I moved to Texas and I stopped being a vegetarian. Everyone said it would happen, and you know what? They were right. Because that's all there is out here. There is now you can find vegetarian stuff, but when I first moved here, no, it's like.
Were you saved by or a victim of circumstance in this regard?
Mind it. I like it. I don't know. I just didn't eat meat for so long, and then it was like weird to eat meat, and so I just didn't eat meat. Why did I start talking about that? There was a reason. Why did I say I was vegetarian? There was a reason.
Oh my God.
I don't know anymore.
I was talking about fishing.
Oh, fishing. That's right. Because I would tell people that they would always talk about like going fishing. And I'm like, when I go fishing, I just shoot at them real up close. And people would get very upset by that. And I'm like, you can't get angry. I'm a vegetarian. And then they would be confused.
It's okay. I respect all animals, so I get a pass once in a while.
Told him, just throw a dirty bomb in the water. Once it goes off, you just throw the net and pick up whatever you want.
You should enhance that joke, but it's okay. I'm pescatarian.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I can eat.
Damn straight. And I was, because I didn't. I mean, you have to have some protein. Dude, I was vegan for a quick second.
God.
For 2 years.
I respect the lifestyle, but good luck. That's all I can say.
I couldn't live without real cheese, fake cheese.
Tough.
It was funny, yeah. When I was vegetarian, you would think I would eat veggie burgers, but not like. Actually, that's the main reason I switched from being a vegetarian. Once I started making the fake beef that looked like beef, it grossed me out so much. It was just so gross and disgusting. Yeah. I was like, I'd just rather eat real beef.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I never ate any of The fake hot dogs are weird. Fake bacon is weird. It tastes like bacon in a hot dog, but it doesn't.
The texture's off. That's the problem with a lot of stuff. Is the texture does not match, and you just know it's. You almost want to spit out, but you're committing too much at this point. You know.
See, that's why I didn't mind the veggie burgers though, because they knew they weren't a burger. It was its own unique thing. There's little bits of carrot in there, and honestly. Zach, one day I'll have to grill you up a veggie burger. I can make a veggie burger taste good. Most people cannot.
I got one for you just in that same vein. I learned this past winter with a friend of mine that we went out camping or went out. Yeah, I guess camping I call it. Black bean burger. I got a good recipe for that now.
Yeah, those are good too. Yeah.
I can make a damn good black bean burger.
It's its own thing. It's not a burger. Second, if you want it to be a burger, you guys have to have a burger. But if you want a veggie burger, there's a couple distinct choices.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, long way of saying it's funny to shoot fish in the head when you're fishing.
We'll explore these concepts.
I don't do that, by the way. Just for anybody I don't actually do it.
We'll explore these concepts and me watching a syndicate show that actually has them using revolvers on alligators in the next episode of Boys Club Podcast. So we'll sign you guys up. Thanks for tuning in. And by the way, again, subscribe to us. We're growing really rapidly. And we're glad to hear from folks tuning in the show, the Fishtank community as well, and anybody in between. Subscribe, click the bell. It builds them out, not for only you, but for us too. And let us know where you want on your favorite social. Right now it's at UFL Podcast. We will get that switched over to our new tag, likely BCPC HQ or something along that line. And just let us know, what else do you want to hear about? Again, it's the Boys Club. We love video games. We love tech. We love Fishtank. We love sports. But hey, the Boys Club has a lot of hobbies and a lot of interests. Let us know what you want to talk about on our social, and we'll talk about it in a future episode. It's going to be a variety show, and we're just getting started.